I started off with Vicky because I would like for her to at least get 2 rounds in. And if you're just joining us, we're just starting. This is a late start tonight. My voice is maybe at 65. Well, let me rewind that 58% because I just cracked. All right, Vicky, that was beautiful. I love what you said, and that's a beautiful perspective. And thank you for that word, orchestrated. I love it. Beautiful. All right. Meadow, peace in the meadow.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. I'm gonna put this background up for everyone. If you want to just touch upon this order and chaos, otherwise you can go anywhere in one of these areas here.
All
so
right.
I leave it up to you, and the floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you, and I'm glad to be here. It's been a long while since I've gotten to come to one of these. Unfortunately, for everybody knows, I did not just dip out. Okay, that was not what happened. I got a job, and my job, unfortunately, is these hours. And excuse me, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are my only days off, so I'm only able to host my own live on Tuesdays now. And by the time Wednesday comes around, I am so dog tired. I just want to face plant the bed. And I actually got up and like ran around the block a couple of hours ago to get my blood pumping so I could wake back up so I could be here tonight because I was nodding out at my desk. But so I've got a whole bunch of fun stuff to tell you. Excuse me if I can get my voice going here. Um, I had a similar story like you guys had, an unalive in the family. Mine was my younger brother. I'm adopted. He is not. We looked exactly alike. I don't even look like my actual blood half siblings. I don't look like them at all. But my brother and I, same facial features, same hair color, same skin tone, same body shape. We also have the rarest form of central heterochromia. In fact, his eyes, my eyes, and two other people's eyes that I met when I was in New Mexico a couple of years ago, the only people that I've ever seen with this type of central heterochromia. When I looked them up on the internet, this form of central heterochromia is so rare it's not even recognized on the internet yet. In fact, all heterochromia is recognized as two separate colors, either inside the same irises, or one iris is one color, another iris is another color. That is your typical heterochromia. Central heterochromia, I can't even say it. Central heterochromia is usually like a ring of one color on the outside of the iris and another ring of another color on the inside of the iris. Oftentimes it looks like clouds. Most forms of hazel are actually a form of heterochromia. Mine is a triple heterochromia. So I have a dark blue circle on the outside of my iris, a light blue circle in the middle, and yellow shoots that are individual muscles that come out from the pupil. My brother had the same thing. Neither one of our bloodlines have heterochromia anywhere in them. Now here's the fun part. My birthmark. Is it okay if I turn my camera on for just a moment, sir?
Yeah. What did you want to show?
This, my birthmark. So it's right. I had to keep it when I got my tattoos. I was like, make sure you don't cover my birthmark. So mine is small, dark, raised on the top of my right arm, and I was right-handed. My brother's was light, large, not raised on the bottom of his left arm, and he was left-handed. And we looked exactly alike. Remember? So like, oop, go off. Why is it not going off? Okay. So he passed away in a car accident when he was 18 years old, and I had a 10-month-old on my hip. And mom lost her head. She locked herself in the bedroom for 3 days. Dad had to take care of her and all the people that were coming in. Biggest funeral till this date that I've ever been to. But at 19 years old, I had to grow up that day. And I had to, after being told some really next level messed up stuff from my mom, but I'm not going to trauma dump on you. I want to tell you the important parts, the lesson parts. I spent that 3 days handling my brother's funeral. I was 19 with a sick 10-month-old. I wasn't even ready to be a mom, much less ready to lose my brother. And for many years, I questioned, everything happens for a reason. It's all in divine timing. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I was livid to hear those words. I would fight you. My rage was so monstrous, so awful. I was a mess, an absolute mess. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't accept it. I couldn't believe that. There was absolutely no reason that the only person on this planet that ever actually got me was just gone. And I wasn't there to stop it, but yet I still caught the blame. And I was just furious. I was furious about all of it. And that trickled down my parents eventually stealing my kids because they used his life insurance policy to pay off the local government and find me an unfit mother, which isn't true, by the way. All of those things all happened because of my brother passing away. And so I blamed everything, not on my brother, but on God, universe, Gus. We call it Gus now, God, universe, source. So I blamed everything on Gus. I hated it. I hated my clairs. I stopped talking to my guides. I stopped listening to my intuition. I was a monster, a ball of rage and fury and just misunderstanding and discontent with existence as a whole. Didn't matter what kind of synchronicities or what kind of messages I was being shown. I could not, would not, absolutely did not receive them. Even if I did receive them, I would push them out of my head or out of my awareness and continue on about my human life. Because I didn't want to be a part of whatever this system was that would take my only friend from me. And I have a friend named Angel Ooze awesome. I think some of y'all may know her. She does bone readings.
Meadow, I am enforcing 5 minutes. Just I hope you're aware of that. Because we're already at 5 minutes, and I'm just waiting because I know you're going to tie it into this.
I am. Two more seconds. So she
2 more seconds. Let's be real. 1 more minute.
Okay. She did a bone reading and she connected with my brother. Sarah Lynn and several other people that can see have seen him in my lives before, but I couldn't see him, and that bothered me. If my brother's still here with me, why can't I experience him like I experience everything else? Well, she told me that of course, he's standing there laughing and making fun of me because I was crying, because that's what Sagittarius does. They Sagittarius you until you cry. That was a good brother thing to do. So he's laughing, I'm crying, and she's trying to figure out what's going on. And she finally tells me, she says, he said that it was your turn to awaken. That is why you have the birthmarks, the heterochromia, and all those things, and why your synchronicities were so much like that. Because you were fated to be siblings. Even though you were born of a different family. All those things happened. Every single thing that happened, my stepfather denying me, my birth mother throwing me away, my granny and papa getting in a motorcycle accident, aunts taking me and deciding to give me up for adoption. All of those things that I could never understand why they happened. They happened for that specific reason, so that my brother and I could be my brother and I. So that he could pass away at 18, so that I could have all that rage inside of me and blow up on a friend at 28 years old and almost unalive him. So that I would stop being angry. So that I'd start working on myself, so I would heal myself, so I could be the person that I am today. And your title, Chaos and Order. I used to have a saying, I'm the creator of chaos, mistress of mayhem, and agent of anarchy. And all these years later, I found out my life path is to 22, the master builder. I was that chaos that has become the order. And this is the most perfect title for this life. And that's why I wanted to be here tonight, because I had that part to say. And I'll end my plane.
Well, that's wild that when you explained it, the similarities, the physical similarities, because you're destined or contracted, or your soul agreement was to be siblings, even if from different parents. Yeah, wow. I get that. That makes a lot of sense. Beautiful story, Meadow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's the deal about chaos and order, as far as I'm concerned, and just my personal opinion. Even when it appears as chaos, it's still order. We can't see it as such. We don't understand it fully.
I literally lived that, so I totally know. I literally lived that very thing.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's exactly what I'm looking for tonight. Sharing experiences and stories, how you tie in everything to order from chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks, Meadow. Forbidden, you're next. Welcome in.
Always a pleasure. Always wonderful. Where would you like me to begin, my brother? everything to flow.
Yeah, I wanted to put the background up again. These are the prompts. These are the talking points. Maybe the three in the bottom people may not be able to connect to, I guess, why I put them up there. But yeah, do you have any questions about those prompts, or would you like to speak on one?
Deja. I mean, I can speak on pretty much any of them. I'm pretty familiar.
One at a time. I really want to go hard. I'd love to go hard on one of them, with each one of them. One at a time. You'll get another turn.
Okay. Well, if deja vu is the first, I'll start there then. Deja vu. When you remember something, or you have that moment of flash when you're like, I've been here before. It's like a save point. It's like, you know you're on your right path. You can't hit a deja vu from something you've already seen if you're not following that path. So when you follow that path and you realize you hit that point, it's like, okay, so I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, which I'm pretty sure a lot of us have all had that. It's a pretty good feeling.
I love it. I love deja vu topics. How do you experience it? Describe it. Maybe someone has never experienced a deja vu. How would you describe it?
I would say it's epiphanous. It's like an epiphany, a sudden moment of clarity. You start looking around, you start seeing that moment. Maybe it was a dream, maybe it was a feeling. Mine have always been dreams. I can just go from that one, from my own experience. Mine have always been dreams that I've had dreams of many, many times. And most of them are usually full color, and I'm colorblind in this life, but they're usually full color. So when I know I have the full color dreams, I know it's something to really watch for, something that to expect. And I've learned this over the years, ever since I was a kid. It's very epiphanous. It's like it's just an epiphany. You see it, you know it, you feel it, it resonates. It's a full body. That's the best way I think I can describe it.
Some people call it a glitch. Some people say it's a glitch in the matrix, a temporary pause where time ceases to exist and you're in a moment where you remember fully, and then it catches up again and starts to run. If we look at it as a program, just freezing up and then continuing. Some others say it happens within you. To me, it's almost like, if we have come here to experience certain things and we didn't do it the first time, all the pieces align together again to experience it a second time or a third time if needed until we get the full experience from it. Does that make any sense? Would you agree with that?
It does make sense. I wouldn't call it a glitch. That's why I was saying it's just a moment when you realize you're on your right path. Mine are like, the ones that I have are dreams. They're like, I sleep, I dream it, it happens. It could be a week, it could be years. I've had dreams that have happened that were from the time of when I was 8. I dreamed it when I was 8, and it didn't happen until I was in my 40s. And knowing that that's when I end up in that space, it's just showing me that I've been following my path. And that was something that I was shown that it's if you have that moment, if you didn't follow the right course of path, you wouldn't have the deja vu. It would have reverted. It would have missed its mark. If that makes sense from what I'm saying.
Have you had many?
Yes,
In a very long time. It feels, for me personally, I'm running. How about you?
I love when they happen. I just kind of giggle about them. I mean, some of them get pretty serious because you end up in pretty serious moments. But it's to lead you to that point of like a moment of duality um, that I found. It's usually a moment where I have to make a major shift, and it's either I'm going to take the right path or the wrong path. But I feel pretty guided, so I don't typically. I know that sometimes what's wrong, what may seem wrong to someone else, but if it helps the many, then what is to be told that it's right? It's like if I have to use something as a pry bar and they're like, hey, that's stupid to use that as a pry bar, but it worked. So if it worked, is it stupid? It's one of those type situations.
I know this. A deja vu will get your attention, and if you have a couple, you start paying closer attention. What it does is it expands your awareness because you look at things more closely, differently. Yeah. All right, Forbidden. Beautiful stuff. Thank you. No, go ahead if there was something else.
I was just saying thank you. I appreciate it. Um, I appreciate you, and I'm glad you're doing these things and you're following your path. I wonder how many deja vus you've had doing this.
Well, that's interesting. None. And I can't explain it. I thought I would have a bunch because, see, and that tells me it's not just about patterns repeating. There's more to it. It's an actual. There's more to a deja vu than just a pattern repeating. Because we've repeated patterns here before, but I've never had that. You know, it's like it just, to me, a deja vu, time stops for a second, even two. And it's almost like I know what's going to happen next, if that makes sense. But no, I haven't had that experience here. All right. Beautiful. All right. Welcome in, everyone. Azrael is next. Azrael, you can pick deja vu if you'd like, or any of the other topics here. Which one are we going to go with? One each, one at a time. Welcome, Azrael.
I want to touch everything too, but you know what? No, I don't know how to say it, but I love that deja vu and what was said by Forbidden. But oh, geez, how about we do this? Okay, I'm gonna go with the deja vu and my thoughts just by hearing your discussion here right now, and I want to incorporate how I see it real quick. You know, I'm not gonna take forever because I love topics like this, and I'm mindful of the time. I don't fight.
Absolutely.
No, it makes me think. But you know, I was thinking about the deja vu. You know, I had my own idea, but now that I was hearing, I was envisioning something. Is that we have free will, you know, but it's limited, and we're always put in positions where we make choices, and sometimes we're making a choice, and you know, because we're free will individuals, we're entitled to do anything that we want to. But we are given cheat codes, and sometimes we get breaks that happen where we made the wrong choice. And this is where the deja vu comes in, giving us that second opportunity. Say, you know what? We're going to forget you this time, but we're going to start you back at where that point was where you need to make that choice. Once you get the deja vu, you acknowledge it and be like, wait a minute. I've been here. I've done this before. And that's actually resetting that state, if you understand what I'm getting at. So the universe is going to give us breaks here and there. Not all the time, because if we unalive, you know, that's a whole different scenario. But in this physical world, our vehicle, which is our body, is constantly responsible for the spirit, you know, and sometimes the spirit needs that opportunity to survive. And the reason I see this because I am listening all the time, especially with the numbers, and that's what. And I definitely believe that the universe is giving us these numbers, and this is why I came to that deja vu concept. Is it doesn't speak in English. It speaks in codes. People say O's and ones and whatever. But I think it's more than just O's and ones because maybe just maybe it's letting you know the simple steps. Zero, then comes one. What comes after one? Two, three, four, five, and that's how we get these numeric numbers that we see all over the place. And not only those numbers that we see all over the place, these same very numbers explain frequency. These very numbers explain color scheme. You could go to any place and say, you know what, I want to paint the bathroom red and I want to paint the kitchen off brown. And they're going to give you specific codes to punch into the computer, and that computer is going to generate that specific color. And these same colors are, in keys and keyboards and everywhere. So the numbers are all over, and this is how the universe is speaking to us. So when a deja vu occurs, it's the universe speaking to you and say, you know what, this is your opportunity. This is your chance. You have these options, and those numeric numbers create the emotion that you feel. We talk about the chakra system. Each chakra is a numeric number. The emotions can be tied to a number. So if I tell the computer, computer, anytime that I tap in and say F, 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 which will mean whatever number is associated with, A, B, C, D, E, F is 6. So 66666 all across the board is going to generate that emotion. And I could give this same numeric number to an AI system, and the AI is going to comprehend somebody's emotion by saying color red. So this is how the universe speaks to us. And I'm at 9:09, about 20 seconds. And I definitely believe that the deja vu is hinted by the universe, and these numbers all connect because this is the unspoken language that we tend not to work with. We don't talk in numbers, we talk in words. And I yield.
I like that. The what I'm picking up on is the numbers. Sometimes I call them spiritual breadcrumbs. You're on the right path, or it's kind of like confirmations. Sometimes I get them before, but mostly I get them after. It's almost like even the universe won't interfere in your decisions because it wants you to learn, it wants you to grow, and we learn by doing. And but yes, when it happens, it makes me feel more connected than ever to Source, and makes me smile. I like getting them, but you can't force it. If you go looking for it, it's not the same, right? It's when it comes to you, Azrael.
Yes, yes.
All right, beautiful. Thanks, Azrael. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, in my comment to this promo, the universe is constantly talking to us. The question is, are we listening?
Right, exactly. Exactly, and sometimes these synchronicities are nothing more than a way of getting your attention. And then you can become, it might activate a part of you that needs to be more consciously observed. Yeah, beautiful, Azrael. Thank you. All right, let's keep going around. Gideon, welcome in. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you, T? It's good to hear you sound better. So
Yeah, getting there, but I feel a lot better. It's just my voice is playing. I'm playing catch up, waiting for my voice to get back.
yep, I get you on that. So the prompts. Which one am I gonna talk on? Can I say the prompts again, please, Steve? Deja vu. Yeah. I could talk on all of them, but synchronicities. I'll touch on synchronicities because that wasn't touched on. But synchronicity.
Okay. Can you define it for us as you understand it first? Because there's a big one.
So synchronicity is, from what I remember, it's when two two unlikely two unlikely events sync up with each other, something like that. Like you could be talking about something and someone would be talking about like that, but you don't, like, completely unrelated, something like that. I have to look up the definition again. I probably got it wrong, so.
Oh no, you're fine. That's perfect. The one thing I did look up the definition when I was making the video, actually, because sometimes I'll put a definition in the video, and I said, you know what, let's just talk about it later. What it means is, like you said, exactly, but it has a special meaning to you as well. In other words, it's like not just a random event, like, oh, there's a red car and there's another red car, exact same model. But it has to mean something to you, like, you know, and it would involve, actually, synchronicities involve all the other topics too.
Yeah. Yeah, so synchronicities, I love when that happens. And it's just whatever we need, like I guess technically Monday when I found the hawk feather, that was that was more of a manifestation, I think, but it's the same thing, like, you know, like I said, when when we ourselves are talking about something, and then someone else can be talking about something to confirm that thing that we needed to confirm, you know, it can be found in, like, readings someone gives us about, or even signs like animals and stuff. So that's kind of all I have on synchronicities, actually. But I mean, with deja vu, I mean, everyone experiences that, and it's not just a little cat, you know, like in the Matrix. It's like people were saying, like, it's events. Like when I was 26, there were so many events that I had places that I would go to. I'm like, oh, I've been here before, and then the same thing. I knew what was going to happen, but once I got there, it all played back in my mind, kind of like you know how we had to rewind the VCR tapes in the 90s. So that's kind of how I always view it, like that. And yeah, but the patterns too. I mean, to me, patterns, besides the seasonal patterns, you know, it's the same thing with the angel numbers. Like, I mostly pay attention to 0 to 1212. That's it. But then, you know, the repeated ones, like if you see an 8 8 or a 7 7, like that, like. But that's kind of where I stop when I talk about that stuff. So yeah.
You know, when it comes to patterns, there are patterns everywhere. They may seem random, but they're not. And for example, if you know, even if we look at people and patterns, people that come into your life, and when someone leaves, another comes of the similar archetype, if that makes sense, if you know what I'm talking about. Do you get where I'm going with this? So in other words, you always kind of have, it's not just random people, like they're people of certain attributes that enhance you and help you in what you're doing. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. No. I get that. That makes sense. It's like, what do people say? It's muse. Like, people sometimes come around to help you be a muse, an inspiration for creativity in your life, and also confirmation for other things too. So it's just to get animals. That's what I believe. So, like, the animals can do that a lot. So if we're just open to it. But I think I've reached 5 minutes, so I'm gonna park my canoe. So.
All right, smooth docking there, Gideon. Beautiful. Love what you shared. Synchronicities, absolutely. There was a movie called Synchronicity, I think. I don't know if you guys saw it. I forget the actor's name or the actress. All right, let's keep going around. Candace is here. Well, what a serendipitous synchronicity this is, Candace.
Young one, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. Thank you so much. T, you better be feeling better, man. I see a plane. I see a plane ride in my future.
I should take Friday off and come back Monday.
You should.
I sound terrible. I feel terrible. Like when I'm talking, it's not that I feel sick. It's just I hear myself, and I can't stand it. Sorry, Candace.
Understood. I understand. So let's talk a little bit about patterns. Let's talk a little bit about patterns here. First off, you know, I've noticed and synchronicities. Let's put that in there. So you know, once and I'm using go back a few years, we noticed that when we're like between the ages of 21 25, we notice that the world seems just a little bit chaos, and we're noticing things are a little different, and we focus on just taking care of ourselves, right? But we don't notice the little things. We don't notice the patterns. We don't notice everything going like off the wall and then falling into place, and then off the wall and then falling into place. And I've noticed something this last couple of years. When I met Mike, I did not know that he also was on a spiritual path that included a lot of learning for me. And so by the synchronicities, he uses those all the time. He says, I just saw 777 222, and this means this, and what do you think of that? So in the meantime, we're learning. I am learning that that it just keeps happening. The patterns of finding numbers. There's the random colors that we both see. And when I say colors, I mean not like a flower. I'm talking light, aura, and all that. And but it keeps happening. So, and this man, let me explain how Mike is. Mike, and the pattern that he shows is exactly the pattern David showed. He's a goofball. He is very caring and very loving, but he doesn't want to get that connected. If that means anything to you, it just means he doesn't want to get too serious. So David didn't want to do that either when we first met, and it took him a while. So that pattern is in existence. So I see that with what happened before and now. So I hope that made sense. I tried to put it together in my mind, but and divine order. There's something very special about divine order. We all know that we are here to share this space and to share this time and to help one another. Through things that are unexplainable, but can be explained later in its own time. and I am so elated to share something that is a gift from Source. So I don't know why this happens, but I could be walking out my door and sitting on my scooter, is sitting there, and all of a sudden I start crying. And then I hear very loudly, "Why are you crying? Look up." I look up, and then there's I kid you not, a 4-leaf clover cloud sitting right in front of me, up in the air. And I'm like, this must be a message. So I stuck with it, and I felt like, wait, so I have to be here to share that with you, because it's very special when you experience just the knowledge of knowing all will be well, and trust in the divine order of things. Yes, we have difficulties during our day. Yes, we don't feel good. Yes, we can't walk too well. Yes, the car broke down. Yes, this. But you know what? Trust everything will work out in its own divine timing. Things aren't supposed to be perfect for us. It's never supposed to be that way. For instance,
Candace, I'm coming in on that one. Some might say everything's perfect. We just don't see it.
Close the door.
Right? Did you hear that?
Yeah. They just told me to close the door. They don't. It's so where much is given, much is expected. You remember that one, right? So having the faith and the trust to know that all will be well. This ground is so hard to walk on. You just have to observe where you're walking. I mean, for me, for my mother, for my father. You know, I mean, I could think back my ancestors before me. You know, look what they walked on, and so I have no reason to complain about this time right now. So I'll land my plane there. Thank you.
Beautiful, Candace. I just great to have you up here, and I love what you just shared. Beautiful stuff.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, let's keep going around. Second round now. Vicky, welcome back. I'll put the prompts up again. Was there anything you wanted to speak on those, or maybe even something that is not listed? Welcome back.
Thank you. Well, a few. Yeah, those prompts are all really linked.
Oh,
to each other.
everything is linked.
Everything is
Absolutely.
linked.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were talking about divine order, people and events. So as we know, everyone comes into our existence for a reason. And I call it existence because we are living in the human experience of our soul's existence. I don't know where all that's coming from, but it's coming. You know, we're here to remember who we are. And with each person that comes into our space or our energy, they come in to help us remember a little bit each time. It's that puzzle that we are putting together. We all are one whole puzzle. And each piece that is activated or that was dormant, that is just coming alive within us, it's going into the space that it needs to be so that we can be who we're truly meant to be, you know, or be on that path to where we're truly meant to be. You know, everyone and every event that happens is for our highest good. It depends on how we look at it, our perspectives. Do we let the human conditioning control that? Or do we look deeper? Do we look at the broader picture of it? You know, yes, when we're in the moment, it does affect us because we're human. Our bodies are human, right? But when we step back and we see clearly exactly what it's meant to do, that's when our growth starts. That's when the revelation comes to us that everything is here to teach us and help us grow, no matter what it is. Some people could be separating from a significant other. There is a reason for that. We have to look at the what that connection was meant to teach you, what it was meant to do for you, not to you, to help you grow. And once we realize that, the healing becomes easier. So that goes with anything, any event, any situation, any person.
Oh, shit.
And it's up to us how we want to handle certain things, how we feel it will help us grow. So, yeah, I hope I didn't go over my time.
No, you're fine. That was beautiful. And let's not worry too much about the time, guys. I don't want everyone to feel like they're on eggshells, but just within reason. And I know sometimes we get into it and then we start to flow and we connect it. And we just, who am I to say 5 minutes is enough? It's a soft 5 minutes. If people need more time, I'm intuitive. I can pick up on it and let people go over if needed. But as long as it's flowing and not, too many different topics and bouncing around, you were right on topic. You said people come in our lives for a reason. And sometimes they come in loud. And sometimes they're like, oh my goodness, right? They get your attention, but not in a, quote, good way. It's always a good way because I can't find the quote. I looked for it, but Rumi said something along the lines of, pay attention to everyone that comes into your life. They're there for a reason.
Absolutely. And yes, they could come in loud, louder than we could ever imagine. But there's lessons to be learned in everything. And that's where our knowledge comes in. It gains us knowledge, which developed into wisdom for us to use later on. But we need to learn from these lessons with certain things, events happening, and people, like I said, in the moment, it might not be sugar-coated, but when we look at what it is that we need to learn from that. And there is loudly and there is silently, right?
Yes.
Either way, yeah, either way, we learn from all of it. And this is going to be my last round.
Well, see, I'm glad we did the switch and made you go first. Now we got two rounds from you. Yeah, I know, Vicky. Yeah, I think everyone appreciates you come in. You don't come in loud, but your wisdom is loud in a soft way. And I don't mean volume, I mean power that comes with it. So thank you always for coming in and, in this live and other lives and just sharing what you experienced.
Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. I appreciate you and everyone and all that everyone brings.
Yes, everyone's here for a reason. There are no random coincidences. There's no mistakes. Divine order means you are here and you are equally valuable as anyone else. Thank you, Vicky. And I think I have someone else requesting. So we'll make the switch, but I want to wish you a great night, and I appreciate you being up here tonight.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. And everyone, have a good night.
Right, you too. Okay, guys, beautiful. Let's keep going around. I'm gonna let you guys flow this round. You know, I'll change the backgrounds if I have one based on what you're talking about, but don't feel like you need to meet me where I'm at or anything like that. Just speak openly, whatever your heart desires. Meadow, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm actually really glad she went before me too, because as she was saying, people coming into your life to bring on your memories or to shift you in one direction or another, whether it's a good or a bad. We have that saying, some people are lessons, some people are blessings, but they all are lessons and blessings. We don't always get to see it. The story I was telling earlier about my brother and all the anger and all the stuff that I went through, I realize now, just over this last couple of months, why all that happened. Because I could not stand that sentence. Everything happens for a reason. I could not find a reason why all of those things went down like the way they did. But now I know that. Now I know what it was. Because there's going to be other people like me that are going to be angry by that. They're going to be angry from the things that they went through. And they're not going to hear those platitudes that we always say to calm ourselves or to walk away from a conversation, just like I didn't want to. And having been the person that went through that and understanding where that person is coming from in that anger, that's the reason I had to go through all that. So that whenever I got to this position where I'm at now, where I'm teaching, I could understand why now. My brother, my kids, my family, and all the things that went down, all those things that made me hate myself, hate the world, hate the universe, and hate God. It was reasoning. There was a reason for it. And this was the reason. So that I could be that person for them when they come around in their anger and their frustration and their misunderstanding of what it was happening. Because I'm not going to be able to come at them with platitudes because I know how angering that is. I'm going to sit down and talk to them. Hey, man, guess what? I know where you're at. I know I've been there. I was there for better part of 40 years. And I still have my moments where that anger builds back up. But now that I see how the divine chaos really was ordered, it was ordered for that specific reason, so that I could be the person that I am today, so that I could be the person that is able to reach out to the people that can't be reached out to. And I've been knowing that kind of, and I've been trying to, but I was still in that space too, and I couldn't reach out to them from that same space and be received. Also, I can't reach out to them myself. I have to wait to be invited because I'm a projector in human design. I've spent the last 2.5 years searching for my purpose, searching for reasons, searching for all of the answers as to why my life sucked, or why other people's lives sucked, or why this happened or that happened or whatever. And now, even though I knew all the answers, I had all the same answers that we're talking about tonight, but I couldn't wrap my head around it because I was still pissed off about it. But now I'm not mad anymore. I'm not angry anymore. And all of the let it go practices that were frustrating me, and the mindfulness practices that were frustrating me, and all the other stuff that was not working for me, it wasn't working for me for that reason. I was supposed to be that chaotic person so that I could reach out to the chaotic people whenever I finally found my balance, whenever I finally found the order. And it took diving into all of my charts, going all the way deep down into the smallest numbers in numerology, the smallest gates on the human design, and all of the asteroids even in my natal chart, and having to really dissect each and every tiny little part of those charts. I couldn't wrap my head around the Akashic Records. I've been all over the cosmos. I can see things most people can't perceive. But I could not find any Akashic Record, any library, and I thought that was hooey until I started diving into my charts, and I saw each and every moment of my life exactly mapped out. Every heartbreak, every pain, every suffering, and every love, and every joy, and every great moment too. And every learned lesson too. I can look at my chart in the future now and be like, oh, okay, this transit's coming. All year long, I've known that July and August were going to be a huge shift for me. I was going to shift my entire personality, not really personality, but because I'm still a goofball, but my entire way of teaching, my message that I was going to teach, and exactly what it was that I was going to understand about my teaching. Because before I could teach it because I was just repeating it because it didn't make any sense to me. I didn't feel it, but now I do. And that's why I had to go through all that. And it was written in my chart. So now I understand that was my Akashic record the whole time. Something that I couldn't see in the cosmos because I was looking in the wrong spot. The messages that I was hearing or catching, I wasn't really catching them because I was looking in the wrong spot. I have a tendency to look at everything from every possible angle, but sometimes I'll get stuck on one side of that piece, on one side of that multi-sided die, and try to figure out just why this side looks a little bit different than the others. And I'll get stuck there trying to overanalyze it because I do have obsessive compulsive disorder. So I'll obsess until I get the answer. And in doing so, what I've done is I've missed the messages that I was meant to catch if I'd have just kept going on that on the roll die and go to the next side. If I'd have took the time to listen to my dad when he used to tell me all the time, sis, you're too close to the project. You need a second pair of eyes. I'm autistic. I take things literally, so I would go and get somebody else. I dropped my phone in my car one time. Couldn't find it. Dug that whole thing out. Was about to go inside and give up. I decided one more chance and I opened the passenger door, and the whole time my phone was sitting right there, not even 2 centimeters away from my hand the whole time. And that's when that sentence that my dad had always said to me clicked. And I realized he didn't mean go get another person. He meant take a step back and look at it from a different perspective. Pick up that die and roll it over and look at something else because you're focused too hard on this one. Take a step back and look at something else, and then you'll catch the message that you were missing when you were over focused. That is a hard lesson for autistics, ADHDs, and definitely Aries. And I got all three. So it took me a little bit longer to get there, but you know what? And I couldn't get there from listening to y'all or listening to books or gurus or anything else. All of the things that I studied, I could not get the answers I was looking for because I was over focused. I was hyper focused. I was overthinking. I was stuck on those things, trying to find out what I needed from them. But I couldn't because it wasn't meant for me to find it out from them. It was meant for me to take a step back and look at the bigger picture so that I could see the parts that I was missing while I was being over focused on these. And that
happens. That happens to a lot of people. What was that saying? Something like you miss the forest, or you can't see the trees. Something you guys know what I mean. Help me out.
Yeah, you can't see the forest through the trees. Yeah.
Something like that. In other words, when you're really in the heat of the moment, my goodness, we really, truly have a clear perspective, or is it all clouded by feelings, emotions, and all of that?
Or hyper focus. you're stuck staring and overanalyzing and overthinking and just stuck on that one thing, but that's all you're seeing. You've got the tunnel vision. If you take the step back and take a step to the right, take a step forward, it doesn't matter. Just slightly adjust your perspective for a second, and you will see things that you did not see before because you were staring too close at a straight line. And that was one of the things that I've learned over this last couple of months during this planetary shift, and I'm very, very glad that I got to hear Vicky because she did say exactly the answer that I was trying to get. And I was too focused then too. But I stopped being focused on my journey for just a second, and I listened to somebody else's. And just like we had just about everybody in this room at some point, we've had some kind of cosmic memory or past life memory or something that came to us, some download that came to us when we were in each other's frequency or in each other's space or listening to each other. And it works both ways. But you have to let it. You have to let it. And I know a lot of us out here have a real hard time letting go of the reins. Trust me, I know. Biggest person there on that. But sometimes you just have to. Sometimes you have to let somebody else take them. Even when letting go of control feels uncomfortable. If you're watching the road, you can't see the beautiful sunset over there or the awesome little birdie family over there or whatever else because you're focused on the road. So get in the passenger seat for a second, let somebody else drive, and look at the scenery and see what you see. And I'll land my plane.
Beautiful. I know. Great share. And listen, you can stay up again if you got time.
Mm-hmm.
You can do another round. Keep going around.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. All right, perfect. All right, Forbidden. Welcome back.
Always a pleasure. I had to do. I was just showing some synchronicities into the comments. Just do the word deja vu. If you look at that word, it's 63 ordinal, 18 reduced, 99 in reverse, and it's 36 in reverse ordinal, or reduced for reverse reduced. It's all 99999. It all comes back to completion. It shows you that you're at a certain point in your life where you're gonna make these, and then your life being 396. So it still comes back to the 369, the 963, 639, so on and so forth. It's Fibonacci. 369 is 18. 666 is 18. 18 plus 18 is 36. It's all 9. It's completion. There's your deja vu. There's your synchronicity. And so when it comes to these numbers, and you know how to read these numbers, and you really truly understand what they say, versus how they're interpreted, because you cannot interpret numbers how you want to interpret them. They may hurt your feelings, but you find the most unadulterated truth inside of a number. Your first live when you went on live, I tested it. That's what I test. I tap the screen and I look at the first number that it comes to as far as the hearts go. And the first time I tapped your screen on the first live before you had to shut it down to reset it was 171. This live right here, I hit exactly 181, 10 in between. That's 9 and 10, 19, 10. Comes back to the whole. The beginning is the end and the end is the beginning. You had to end one live from the beginning, then start a new live to have the ending. So, to look at what I see, then you add those two numbers together, it comes to 352, which is then 10 again. So 20. The gathering of the whole, the gathering of 2 to through the zero, the source. Like, a lot of people don't understand, like, when you look at these numbers, and I look at like 999, it hits 4 times, so it's 9 cubed. So 9 cubed would be 9 times 9 times 9. So when we look at that, or if I look at the 333, or 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9. And then we look at the 9 times 9 times 9, which is 729. That's 18. That's 9 again. So if I do, and I look at that and I say, so we had 318, so that's 18 cubed. So I look at 18 cubed. You get 5832. 5 and 8 it goes back to 18. Or it comes back, yeah. It goes back to, no, 8, yeah, 18. 12. And 18. It's always coming back to the 9. So what is deja vu? And we look at the synchronicities, and we look at the numbers, and we look at the whole of it. And it's showing you the completion of a cycle. The completion of a whole. 333. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. 27 binary code is 11011. 11011 is also the escape key. It's the 27th key on your keyboard. It's the 27th place for the code in binary code. So when we look at those things and we flow with it, see, I mean, I see all these things way different. 3 plus 3 plus 3, which is 9, plus the 27, which then will bring me to the 36.
The month is August.
8th. Today is actually a
Day 8.
yes, sir. It's the 8th month of the 26th day of 2026. Today is the 26 cube day. The day before the eclipse, the day before the light comes back from the shadow, which is something I explain to people through the numbers of what happened from the solar eclipse to now. There's exactly 15 days in between, and 15 is the devil Trump working on. So everybody that's been going through their shadow side, that's why you've been going through your shadow side. You've been walking through the gate of the devil, walking through all, not like as the devil itself, but as in like the symbolization, what you would consider it. So then you look at what the 26 means. 26 cubed is exactly 17,576. So if you look at the beginning and the end, you get 1776, 5 in the center. The 5 is the hierophant. The 5 comes from the 1726. So if you add that up, that's also 26. The day adds up to 26. So it's the 26th day of the 26th year in the universal day number of 26. 26 cubed. What it was trying to tell people is that you're going to be tested. And I was trying to explain this to many people. This was a testing period for everybody to go through. That's why I was when I was saying in your live the other day about Epictetus, when he says that the truth doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't care about the crowd. It doesn't care about your feelings. Truth is truth. It may hurt sometimes, but it's gonna break you to the point where it rebuilds your foundation on a more solid, grounded place instead of sand. And when we can learn to accept truth, as I've expressed through this year, one of the things I was shared to give, and you've been in some of my lives when I've predicted some of these mudslides and things that are happening right now through these numbers and given exact geometrical coordinates of where they were going to happen. The ones that's happening in Nepal right now, I told was going to happen back in beginning of May, middle of May. And I was trying to explain this to people. Volcanoes that went off, things that happened. I didn't learn these numbers on purpose. They were given to me at a proper age when I was supposed to have them. So, looking at these things and knowing what they mean is the only reason I try to share what I can and give what I can. And I don't want to talk too long because I don't want to take it away from anybody because these numbers are very heavy and I can really get into them really deep. But if you have any questions, I can answer real fast or whatever I can give.
Well, I do have to be mindful of the time. If you have time, stay up. I'll ask some questions later.
I have cleared my schedule for you today, my brother.
Okay, cool. Cool, then definitely we'll get into it some more. Thanks for a minute. Let's see, I wanted to discuss, I mentioned earlier there are coincidences that happen and we notice them. But they may not mean anything really, like whether we noticed it or not. It has no bearing truly on what we're going through. And some do, some are more impactful, they hit you, and only you can understand it because you just make that connection and you understand the message behind the synchronicities. Now I'm gonna read this called the red car theory, which is, Diane's brother posted it. I think Diane's brother in the comments. It states that what you focus on is what you will notice. Now imagine a universe with infinite possibilities. Let's imagine that every single possibility you can dream up already exists, but you haven't noticed it because you're not trained to see it. You think it's something you'll never have, something you'll never be. but it's just waiting for you to notice it. All that requires is a little bit of understanding that, I mean, come on, look around you guys, look at the universe, look at life, look at yourself. You matter. You matter so much that you exist, you came into existence. Now don't let your ego embrace that. Let your higher self guide you. And start noticing what's out there. Not the limits, not the obstacles, but the solutions, the beauty that can be. And allow yourself to receive it, and connect to it, and take it. As long as that desire comes from your higher self, you will receive it. Maybe it's time to let go of what we become comfortable with. You know, Gautier, one of my favorite songs, Now You're Just Somebody That I Used to Know. It's got a line in there. You can get addicted to a certain kind of sadness.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, who am I to say, let go of that? You can hold on to it, it's okay. But if you really want change, it's available, it's out there. It's not impossible. I'm possible. You're possible. That's how it works. Synchronicities activate a different part of your mind, a higher mind. Listen, not at the actual numbers necessarily, but observe how your thinking changes when you start to see these, and how the possibilities and how your imagination, your soul's workshop starts to, the lights come on. We can go in there and just be and stay in that. Azrael, I'm gonna stop talking now. I can feel my voice going. Welcome back, brother.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the wrong life. I'm not worthy of what everybody's sharing. It's a good topic, and I love what everybody's dropping, including yourself. It makes individual think. And as I'm listening to everybody share, this topic here tonight is very crucial. It's a cheat code. It's a list of things that the more and more that we can actually delve into it and begin to understand it, it's telling us how we can have a fruitful and abundance life, and how we can find balance in any moment. So I'm listening and I'm thinking, and synchronicity to me, after I listen to everybody speak, because I had my own interpretation, but remember, as a free thinker as we're able to change our minds. We don't need to live with one definition or belief. We're able to adapt to different beliefs and actually evolve with it. So synchronicities is a diagnostic moment where us as human beings are allowed to let it be what it is for each one of us, because each one of us is unique. Yes, we're unique, but somehow, some way, we have similarities with other individuals. That's like the astrological, the numerical. What color you like? Oh, I like that color too. Things that we have in common. So there's a lot of things that are similar with many of us, but yet we are each unique. So in a moment when we are synchronized and like, wow, is this a coincidence? Is it divine timing? Is this fate? Why is this happening? Maybe we shouldn't question why it's happening, and pause for a second and ask yourself, what is it making you feel? What are you feeling when you see the synchronicity? And ask yourself, what symptoms in the body are being activated? It's like, me driving a car, and the car, for some reason, makes a weird sound. it's a moment like synchronicity, yes and no, but in the sense, once I realize that sound, okay, that specific sound in the car is telling me something's off, that's the same moment when we take it into synchronicity. Okay, have I felt this before? I see it happening, and moments like that is a reminder that the more and more that we are nudged or given a signal, or even in a moment that it feels like chaotic because we cannot define it, it comes down to us putting that definition to it. So that's why we come into communities like this and we share our perspectives. Because the more that we share perspectives, we start to gain clarity. We are part of the knowing. So we are part of the know, meaning the all and everything source. But yet, what we lack is the experience. What we lack is understanding. So these things happen more and more to us, so we start to understand. Okay, that's how the flow goes. Okay, so if I'm going to hit a bump, I don't stop and call it a day because I can't go any further. I'm supposed to flow over that bump and be continuously. So an automobile, when it's misfiring or the light comes on, like you said at T, something, we have to take it into the place where they do a diagnostic on it. And that diagnostic is running a trouble code. You can have something seriously going bad at home and nobody is aware of it. But yet that one little thing, which is that synchronicity, is bound to change your frame of thought, ideas, and say, you know what, if I see this and I see the light of how this synchronicity is playing, because I've seen it in a deja vu, I've seen it somewhere, it makes me feel like I felt before when I did not have burden. And that's why I ask you, when you have synchronicity or find yourself in a place, pause. Don't analyze what is happening. Analyze yourself. Does this make me feel better? Me viewing this. Is this what they call a miracle? And if this is the miracle, this becomes my confirmation that, after all the bad crap that has been going on in my life, this synchronicity has shown me the moment has arisen for me to stand up and be the best person that I can be. If that makes sense, So I believe, like Peace in the Metals, I'm going to use that. Gus said, God, universe, and I forgot what the S was, but
Source.
source. Yeah, source. I like that. I'm going to start using that. Is always nudging us. It's just like a parent. I don't know if you guys ever had a parent that actually does the little miracles for you when you least expect it. Like, man, I got a recital and I don't have the clothes. I'm gonna feel embarrassed. And then guess what? I got you some clothes, and we are happy. So when something happens in our life, it takes us back to those moments when we had a dream. When we thought, life is good. I don't care what else is happening. But you know what? After time goes on, we let everything else happening control us. That's where synchronicity, the deja vu, these angelic signs, because we as individuals, each one of us have the similarities and understanding, but yet we are each unique. So rewrite those codes and those feelings and those emotions in order to empower yourself. Do not allow it to disengage you from your potential. We all have potential. And I just, like T said, and I will remind you as well, are we listening? We need to start listening more to what Gus is telling us. Our heart tells us we know what we want, but sometimes what we want is really not what we need. And with that stated, I want to yield.
Beautiful, always, Azrael. Your flows are amazing, brother. Always a lot of wisdom in there. Thank you. All right, Gideon, welcome back.
Hey, G. Sorry, got raspberries in my mouth.
I was eating a Snickers bar when Azrael was talking.
So did you feel like yourself since you ate a Snickers bar? Sorry.
I'll treat myself a couple of times a week to a chocolate bar, yes.
Okay. So, and my intuition tells me you got a question for me, so I'm going to do that because, like I said, I'm eating raspberry, so.
Well, my intuition says yes, but the answer is in a book. Do you have one nearby?
Why don't you go to Candace and come back to me, and then I'll read it. Can we do that?
Sure, Gideon. Perfect. All right, Candace. Let's see if Candace is ready. A little sooner than expected. Welcome.
So
Hey guys,
we stopped.
as spiritualists,
Okay.
as spiritualists, you always got to be ready. Like when it comes, it comes. Are you ready? Okay. The floor is yours.
Azrael, thanks for that because you helped me put together something I wanted to say. So as young as we were once, we observe our parents doing certain things and making things happen for us, and we think life is all roses and cupcakes, right? Well, suddenly I hear a song I used to sing when I was a child. I'm a child of God, and He has sent me here. Man, this is all synchronicity. This is all falling into place. As of 2017, that's when it all started falling into place. I did see the eclipse that day. I did see miracles happen that day. I did see much difference happen for a lot of people that day. We were in Central Oregon at the time. And what a beautiful sight. And so you learn much, you observe, you listen, you watch, you help when you can. What else can I say? I mean, I have no reason to complain. My needs are met. I help when I can. I have good friends to hang out with. An airplane ticket just waiting to surprise someone. And what else can I say, T? I mean, I used to be bullied a lot when I was in school. And, and then you grow up and then you find out, hey, the world isn't too bad. You figure it out. But then, what else can I say? People are different. Just observe. Keep your heart open. As my grandma used to say, keep reaching for the stars. Much love, everyone.
That's beautiful, Candace. Thank you. Much love to you too. All right, let's bring Gideon back.
Okay, I got it. Found it in the book. So.
But does it mean something to you?
Yes. Yeah, I underlined it, so.
Okay.
It speaks directly about deja vu.
Oh, perfect.
So it says, we've told you many times that it's possible for your consciousness to go out in all directions. Not only does it take place while you're sleeping, but while you're awake as well. Perhaps there have been those moments when you have felt that you were experiencing what has happened before. You call this phenomenon deja vu. Although no one really has an adequate explanation for it, we tell you it's a consciousness switch that you can recognize in its most subtle form, yet you have no idea or how it was really happened. Your consciousness has jumped to a slightly different reality, which is only seconds or perhaps even minutes ahead of the one in which you are in fact in the moment. So you may experience the exact same thing that you experienced only seconds ago, especially if circumstances or an activity in your reality is the same as in another reality. When you take a moment to think about it, it's most likely that you remember another strange and unexplainable phenomenon that has occurred throughout your lifetime. It says there are many sensations that the body senses feel or capable of feeling when it switches its consciousness has taken place. Please know that you're constantly switching realities. You switch realities quite easily, although you probably are not aware of it. Know that when we talk about consciousness, we're talking about spirit. Perhaps you can call these spiritual journeys, astral projection, or astral travel. We want to remind you that Spirit does not actually leave the body, but already exists throughout all of time. It says to experience a particular reality, you focus on one. It will appear to be only one when it actually, you simply do not remember the other ones. Anytime you focus on one reality, you will know and experience that one as if it was that only one that exists. All the while, the other ones will be forgotten in the moment, unless of course your perceptions have been heightened, and then you're capable of seeing into other places and perhaps others do. So, that's what I gotta share on the deja vu portion of that, so.
So, tell us, I mean, you and I both do this.
Where does this motherfucker come
How
from?
were you guided to find that? Can you share that?
For me, it's just, if I'm reading a book, I since I was 18, I just underline things, and then the same thing, like, how can I explain it? It's just a word can trigger me, and then I remember that, so then I looked it up in the index of where it is, because it says, even in here, it says an unusual index in the back, so it's funny, so that's just how it is. But it's like when people, like, it can be when people say a part of a sentence that reminds me of a certain song or a phrase. So, like, earlier when we were saying dreams, it reminds me of that song, It Was All a Dream. And I don't know, it just pops in my head. So.
All right, beautiful. Good stuff, good stuff. Thanks, Gideon. All right, we got Bren. Bren's in the house. Hey, Bren, welcome. How are you tonight?
Yo, I'm majestic. Even though I say that every time when I come in here. But good.
You sounded better than me.
Yeah. Well, has it been going in the right direction for you instead of the left direction?
I like to stay in the middle.
Oh well.
Reach out to both sides easier that way.
Yep, gotta have hanky and panky both.
Yeah. Sometimes you feel hanky, sometimes you feel panky. I don't know.
Okay, so what do we have here? The natural order, deja vu, pattern, sequence.
Divine order.
So this big thing, divine natural order. Well, how am I gonna pet this giant T-Rex? Okay, let's see here.
Slowly and gently and carefully.
Yep, have life insurance ready. That way, if you get swallowed, you can come back and try again. Bad T-Rex. Let's see here. I would have to say divine order is, it's how either cycles or how things go along its track, best put it. Things have a natural orderly track that everything goes on. Something comes into being, it exists, then eventually gets to a point where it goes, face plants and it kicks the bucket. And yes, I know, if you're thinking that, well, what about rocks? Well, they have energy too, but they're just stuck. But everything has this order that everything comes into being, everything then leaves, comes back through. It's kind of like the wheels thing, to kind of best put it. It's a cycle that you can try your best to stop the wheel from spinning. You can try. Do I suggest it? Well, all I can say is you can try. But eventually, an order will play out as it's supposed to. And to be part of a divine order is also understanding that no matter how much I do to try to stop this order from going, eventually I'll have to let it go and roll with it. Because it's something that can't be bartered. You can't negotiate with it. Because it's still going to do its thing. Just like how we have all the planets going around the big flamer in the middle of the sun. They're all
The big
going
flamer.
around it. That's part of the natural order. And if somebody says, well, eventually, yeah, I know. I already know. But that's a long time away. But this order is still going to keep going and going and going, like an Energizer bunny. Except it doesn't know when to stop. Mm-hmm. At least that's how I see divine order.
So we're swimming in a pool, not an infinite ocean with no boundaries. Or, oh no, I got a better one. Okay, here you go. Welcome to the amusement park. Lots of different rides you can go on.
Mm-hmm.
But not, I don't know. Where am I going?
I got that though. Welcome to life's complete and utter nonsense theme park, where you have a lot of surprises, a lot of like, what the heck is this crap? I didn't sign up for this. And surprises, thrills, and a random pie in the face. You never know what you're going to get in this existence. Yep, so have fun. You only have a limited amount of time here. So it's kind of like that, with that analogy being thrown into this totally a cake is a lie kind of a theme park called life. And now you're just here, enjoying it, hopefully. If not, well, don't kick the bucket early. But it's like being here, part of this somewhat divine order is rolling with it. Because usually when you roll with it, things flow. But you go against it saying, I just want to leave this park early. But you've only been here for like 5 minutes. I don't like it. There's people here. That can be said, can maybe even go against the divine order. Maybe. I'm not sure because, well, I ain't divine. Absolutely not. Because if I was, well, whoops.
Oh.
That's a big
No, that's a good point. Is it possible to go against this divine order? And if so, will Source kind of nudge you back in place? Or one of Source's many workers, so to speak?
Yep. You have to, like, with having a near kick the bucket experience, and then they're just like, nope, you must go back. But why? You turn around. Okay, now what? Go. Back in you go.
Yeah, I've been body slammed, metal. That's a good way of putting it. Sometimes, yes. Absolutely.
I don't know why I just got a picture of, like, somebody getting, like, Space Jam, like, slam dunked back into their body.
All right, yeah.
Come on. Oh, God, I got stuck in my head. Anyway, that's at least how I see divine order.
Well, what we just talked about right there is huge. I don't hear enough about it. Is the universe... some people suggest the universe is unbiased. I don't know. I think there's a plan. I think there's an intelligence. If we're consciousness, isn't the universe consciousness? Does it not think?
Well, how am I going to word this? Let's see. Let's just say existence and, everybody and everything is playing this big, huge chess against existence. Something takes a move, existence responds to it. Oh my gosh, can you imagine that? One big main awareness and then playing chess with all the other little things that are in existence, like, oh man, oh, what have I done? Now my brain won't let it go. But that's the concept somewhat.
you react? Actually, this is a question I'm going to start asking everyone moving forward now. If you guys are open to responding. If not, that's okay. I won't take it personally. So, my question is, can we look too much into some of these synchronicities, perhaps, because we have a desire that really wants to be fulfilled? And I don't know. I'm just speaking out loud.
Yes.
Yep.
In fact, I'll give a good example. This is some kind of like. I mean, I know witchcraft, but this is legitimate. So, scrolling on, this lovely app, minding my business, like, okay, whoop-de-whoop. Wait. Then there's a post of someone that looks like my significant other back when I first met him. Literally. Even down to the dang dimples. And eye color. Skin color. Hairstyle. Voice. Like, what? Came out of left field. Now, I don't know, because I wasn't even thinking about it back then at all, but it just plopped. I'm just taking note of that, because that's all I can do. I can't be all like, there's some kind of craziness going on in your existence. Are you pulling some strings back there? I know you are. But that's all you can do. You can only just note it down and just take note of it. Being aware, but not letting it consume you.
Yeah, but I understand it when I see it, and it's okay. It's okay, guys. What I mean by that is, when I was a kid, I don't know, I was a wild kid. I used to make decisions by like rolling the dice. I would put different scenarios on a piece of paper, fold them up, and pull them out of a hat. That might be going a bit too far, just saying.
I'm intrigued, but yeah. I mean, in a way, it also, that whole incident, it makes me even think this. Now, to have something be so synchronistic, yeah, we're gonna go use that one. To have something be that specific on point like that, if anything, that just shows that still exists. That version of significant other still exists. And that's proof of it. Even though it's in a different form, it exists though.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Have you had a lot of deja vus, Bren?
Many. A lot. Out of nowhere, it's like, wait a minute, how come I got a feeling I've done this before? Oh, wait. Oh. The worst, the biggest one has got to be when, I met significant other back in 2010, February 7th. On MySpace of all places, like, I know you, but I don't know you. How the heck do I know you? But I've never seen you before. How do I know you? What the heck is this? Okay, I don't know, but I just know you somehow. Then, yeah. You're all just like, yep. Yep. You got stuck with this one last time, now you're back here to do it again. Oh, crap. Deja vu everywhere.
I like what Gideon read earlier. It's quite possible you're some people call it timeline shifting. I call it paradigm shifts in your awareness, your perception shifts where you see things differently. And there's a moment while that's happening that it could appear it's like deja vu, meaning, for me anyway, I've had a few. I haven't had one recently. It's like now I feel like I'm not playing catch up and I don't have to shift. I don't know if that makes sense. But I guess what I mean is, it does feel like time just momentarily stops. And it could almost be like a connection to what it's like after this experience. Just momentarily, like I'm talking a second or two. Okay. All right, Bren, was there anything else?
For now, nope. But very interesting.
Okay, beautiful. Love when you're here, Bren. Good to see you again. Good to hear from you. Stick around, we'll go around again. I'm fighting something still. I'm starting to feel it again, so I don't even know if I'm going to go live Friday, guys. I'm going to be honest. I may have to just take another step back and fix myself. I feel energetically a bit low. Doesn't matter what, my voice sounds like, as much as my ability to do this effectively. So we'll just have to see, moving forward. But I will be back soon. I've committed to, after tonight, I think another 14 of these, and I'll definitely finish strong, not like this. So, yeah, Jen, I think you're right. And good to see you up here, Jen. All right, so let's keep going around, and I'm gonna, that's it. Dropping the prompts and everything else. I'll just put the divine order. Everything's really kind of on topic anyway, so yeah, let's just free flow a bit. Meadow, I saw your comments. Meadow, go ahead. What would you like to share?
Oh, excuse me. Good Lord, almost wrecked into everything here. I was trying to type a comment to you, actually, in the comments, and sit down and find my book at the same time, which is normally right here, and it is not this time. So, where the heck? There it is. No, yeah, it is. Okay, cool. All right, got it. I know that this poem is like a year old, and most of you have already heard it. And I've written many just as awesome, if not cooler ones since then, but this one tracks with this topic tonight. And I think that maybe it'll leave a little thought in some, I don't know, the guides told me that this is the one that needed to be read, and I wasn't even going to read a poem tonight. But I wrote this June 27th in 2025, and it's called The Why Child. Excuse me. The patterns of existence are so precise that I see beyond others' sight. What if ignorance is truly bliss? 'Cause it's agonizing to think like this. Is it true we create our own reality, and our thoughts manifest what we see? But our words are always casting spells, so we must become aware of ourselves. But still, we meet people we come to hate, while preaching unconditional love and faith. The paradox contradicts itself, making awareness a living hell. Do we actually believe we have a choice, free will, deep thought, and a powerful voice? What about the idea of Akashic records? Does it write it before or after the occurrence? Or soul contracts, or the universe's plan? But we have free will. I don't understand. Is there such a thing as heaven or God? Or do all our lives exist as one? Are we connected, or just saying we are? Even my thought circles don't know where to start. What about chakras, or the energies we feel? Or conflicting beliefs we insist must be real? Is the power truly ours, or belong to some god? Are the answers within, when each other's seem odd? Nothing lines up, but we must align. Can you vampire my energy that might not be mine? How are we supposed to be truly authentic if we are meant to be one consciousness? Someone please tell me what's the point of thinking this deeply after smoking a... And how am I supposed to believe what you say if the truth is within me and ours aren't the same? Do our lives have a purpose beyond what we know? Or is our energy food for other souls? What is the meaning of existence? Is time an illusion and this is the matrix? Are you really real or the reality I create? Is our meeting chance or written by fate? If I can see the futures of multiple timelines, but it's subject to change, so is it a lie? How are we supposed to trust ourselves, much less each other, if the truths we tell don't make any sense, yet we continue to believe we are right, and that leads us to argue? The funniest piece of this puzzle so far are the ones who claim to live from the heart, promoting compassion, kindness, and empowerment, but their thoughts and words are full of resentment. They say you should be unconditional love, but hate on each other because they don't line up. I mean, what is it we are aligning to if pieces of me don't align with you? And you have the right to judge my authenticity? Is your reality the one creating me? Can't you see how ridiculous this all is? Do you hear yourselves? Just make it make sense. Energy goes where energy flows. Well, who wrote this law and how do they know? Because I focused on love and God only hate. Everyone wants me to listen, but never hears what I say. You're spreading love, then contradict yourself the moment your negative words cast a spell. Or jealousy, fear, or uncertain thoughts manifest both our realities, thickening the plot. So explain to me what I'm supposed to do with that. Are we really stuck in a reincarnation trap? Can deities or entities affect our reality? Are we in control, or is it the programming? Were we created on this planet or brought to Earth? If life is illusion, then explain giving birth. Why are some eggs fertilized in the womb, and some are laid, and some in a tube? We can change DNA to the molecular level, and change the frequencies through the subliminal, and control the masses for generations, until a rebel like me stands up to say this. But I wonder if it's even worth it to say, since nobody's really listening to me anyway. Too busy judging me for singing my song. Maybe waking them up really is wrong. And I had somebody recently tell me I need to change that last line, and I'm not one for changing my poems, but now that I'm in a new perspective, maybe I should. I don't know. I'm going to kick that around a little bit.
Okay, Meadow, that's no, do not change it. That's
Yes,
it's like a journal. Write a new poem.
I do have.
Write a new poem and hold on to that one as well.
I have many.
You may want to look. Yeah, you may want to look back one day.
I have many that I've done that to. The one that my son asked me to write for his birthday, when I was running away from the Missouri guy and staying in the storage shed with my ex in Canton. That was a while back, but I didn't like the way it turned out because it felt so forced. And I wrote it again, but better. And it actually isn't for my son. It was for me. And it told my story in a way. I mean, I've told the story a million times, but it specifically told the parts of my story that were written in my birth chart, and were also the ones that were the most impactful on me. I've experienced other forms of traumas too, but they were not traumatic to me like those two events were. And even though I had done all these different things to get, the freedom from the carrying the weight of the pain or the burden or the guilt or anything else that I was carrying, it wasn't gone yet. And I couldn't figure out why I was still carrying that. Why I still had moments of despair or anger or anguish or frustration or whatever when I would think about something random that had nothing to do with the traumatic events or the people that were involved. And I realized one day that that's what I needed to do. I needed to write it in a way that would flow better, that would feel better, that would make it make sense. And I got way off topic on my son, and I ended up on just my story and how it affected me directly. And that was the poem that healed it. But it's really long, and I'm not going to read it here tonight. And it's really sad, and I don't want to trauma dump on anybody. But I do have some really great ones, and I can't wait to put out these books. I've got 3 books going on right now. But I wanted to thank you too, boss, for showing up for us when you weren't feeling well. I have a really hard time doing that. If I'm not feeling up to it, I can't do it because I do absorb so much energy from TikTok and from the people in the room and from the people that aren't in the room. So you're very brave and you're very strong to do that for us. And it's very much appreciated. You're seen and you're heard. And I'm grateful that you were here. And I'm grateful that I got to come in tonight because I never, ever get to be here anymore. And it sucks. And I miss you guys. But I had something I wanted to say before before I left. I can't remember what it was now. So
Yeah, tell us about your lives. What's your schedule like?
I'm only going live one night a week now. Oh, good news for those of you that don't know. I got a job and then I got my own house and have a yard and everything. So, and ended up with a second child too. If y'all would y'all like to meet her? She is. It's weird. Okay, synchronicity. This tracks too on your topic. So I incidentally have two of the smartest and most expensive breeds of cats in America, and I didn't pay a single cent for either one of them except for all the money I've paid since having them. But Loki, who's 15 and starting to decline in health, she's an Egyptian Mal. They're one of the smartest house breeds in America. If a cat was ever to be an official, uh, 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 gosh, the dogs that wear the vests. If a cat was ever able to have that type of position, that's the type of cat that they would pick for that. She's that smart. But then I had said when she goes, I don't want to have another pet like this. I don't want this bond again. I don't want to go through this pain watching my baby decline, you know? So I had said specifically after she dies, I don't want another cat. So the universe said, "Oh, I heard that after part. I fixed that for you, and I sent it before." And her name is Penelope, and I was outside feeding the outside cats. Oops. And in the alleyway, and she's walking down the sidewalk, and she sees me out of the corner of her eye. I saw her at the same time. She turns and looks at me, does this little kitty cat smile. She was about 5 weeks old, I think, and walked straight down that alley. Did not take her eyes off me at all. Didn't look at the other cats, not the food bowls, not the neighbors outside or the dogs that were barking. Did not take her eyes off of mine. When she got to my feet, she did the figure eight. So I pick her up and she kisses me on the cheek and I scream, "You give kisses!" So I took her to my porch and let her lick the bowl. And then when I opened the door, I said, "Do you want to come in?" She looks me in the eyes again and she meowed. And I heard in my head, "Penelope." Now I said out loud, like I'm talking to somebody else there, "I can't name her that. That's going to be too hard to yell at her when she's in trouble." It is, by the way, very hard to yell when she's in trouble, and she's always in trouble.
And that was the point of it.
Yeah. But 24 hours looking for another name, and I couldn't find one. And here's the extra special. She's a Maine Coon, and she's a tortoiseshell, both of which are extra wild. Maine Coons stay kitten-minded for the first 5 years of their life. And she lives up to her breed and her coloring all freaking day. Absolutely obsessed with me for some reason. And my friend Tanya Kay, you know her, she's an animal telepath. She called me the night that I got her and told me that Loki reached out to her telepathically and told her to come talk to me about this kitten. Actually, Loki wanted her to tell me to get rid of the kitten. Because Loki's not about that life. But she told me straight up, she said that the reason she reacted to me that way is because she is my soul family and she came here to help me ease the trauma and the pain and the suffering that I will eventually go through when I do lose Loki. And I don't want to say that, but we all do eventually expire, so I have to accept that. But she is awesome, and that's the universe saying, "Hey, man, I heard you. Here's the synchronicity I'm going to give you. Here's something that's going to help you through life." And she is a little monster, holy terror, the sweetest little baby ever, and has no problem hanging upside down from the ceiling at all. But that's the signs. Like, these are the types of signs that the universe gives us sometimes.
Meadow, the way you describe that cat kind of reminds me of you.
I know. Like you were saying,
right?
Like you were saying earlier, the chaos into order. I did not know that I was, I knew I was chaos because, hell, that was like my little saying. The creator of chaos, mistress of mayhem, all that mess. And when I found out about my life path being the master builder, the 22, and I have so many fours in my chart, that's the foundation, and I'm an Aries, and then I found out the projector thing in human design. Well, Aries kick doors down. We say, "Hey, I'm here." Projectors are supposed to wait to be invited. That's a dynamic inside of me I couldn't wrap my head around. How am I supposed to balance that out? Well, inevitably, I did figure it out because I over-focused and hyper-focused and couldn't quit obsessing over it till I got it. But it took her showing up for me to get it. I was like, "Oh, okay, I didn't want this baby." And now I understand my master builder stuff too. And my projector stuff too. So I'm not questioning myself anymore. I'm not questioning reality, and I'm not questioning the universe. I still wanted to question the Akashic Records until it dawned on me, dude, that's what your birth chart was, duh. That's what your numerology chart was, duh. Why else would it say all these things that track so freaking hard with your actual life if you hadn't written it down before you came here? Oh, well, shit. Okay, fine. All right, I heard. Gotcha. Done. And now I have no choice but to do exactly what my guides told me in the beginning of my TikTok. Come at everything with acceptance, understanding, support, encouragement, and love. And I got it now. And be curious and be open to receive, you guys. And be grateful for every single moment, even the bad ones. I love you. I don't know when I'll get to come back again, but it was awesome being here. It was awesome being with all you guys. And I love hearing all of your perspectives. But I have one more question for you, boss. I was screen recording this so that I could listen to it again later. But I do post my lives totally unedited onto my YouTube. Would that be okay if I posted this screen recording onto my YouTube? So it would be available for all?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I have no issues at all.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
As far as I'm concerned, when you go live, it becomes public property. So absolutely.
Thank you. And anybody else that has YouTube and goes live on TikTok, that is an excellent way to keep your lives because TikTok deletes them after 30 days. And there is, what have you said a million times, boss? The gold, the magic happens in the lives, not on the content.
I haven't said that in a while. The magic happens live. Yes, that's what I used to tell Azrael. You know, Azrael, and he's probably right, wanted me to set up a YouTube channel and put all the lives there for people to access. But really, my intuition was saying, hey, the magic happens live. Let people come to experience it.
Right, but for those that can't be there and wanted to watch it, or might have missed a message that didn't get to be there, now the comments don't transfer. But all of the stuff that's said aloud does. So if you see a comment that you think that somebody would want to hear on YouTube, say it out loud. That's what I do on my live. I'm like, oh, so-and-so just said this in the comments because it doesn't transfer. And now it's available forever. So anybody that wants to, that missed the live maybe, or somebody that wanted to re-listen to it again because they got triggered by something, or they got felt by something, or they got remembered by something. Now they can go back and watch it again over and over and over and over and over again as many times as they want. It's there forever. That is the best way to educate, I think. I don't know. Eddie-O told me. Eddie-O's genius,
Yep.
And I don't doubt that man
Go
did
ahead.
it.
Post it. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you. Yay!
All right, and I appreciate you being here, Meadow. Whenever you can, you're welcome to be here. And don't ever think twice. If you feel like coming, just show up if you can. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Forbidden. And guys, I'm gonna say it right now. I honestly have about half an hour left. I'm gonna have to wrap this up a bit earlier tonight. Yeah, I can't fight it. Okay, Forbidden, welcome back.
Hello, my brother. Is there any questions you may have or anything I can address?
You know what? The best version of myself would. I'm not my best version of myself right now.
Fair enough. Just anybody that understands numbers or anything of the synchronicities, if you're not ready for it, it can drive you insane. I will give you that. If you don't understand what you're reading, don't try to read them. You cannot make numbers say what you want them to say. They say what they say. The mystics have taught this since our oldest civilizations. Don't try to interpret things how you want them to be. That's the best advice I can give if you want to understand numbers. Don't push it. You'll end up like Jim Carrey, number 23. You must be able to accept truth, actual truth. I understand we all have a truth. And the things I've been shown with this is your truth is what you go through in life. It's not what the whole world is. Time is spatial. Reality is linear. Your chess pieces are 3D. It goes into the 64. And I'll address that, Gideon. I study 11 different numerologies, 11 different gematrias, through gematria, through numerology, through ASCII. I understand Abjad. I understand the Kabbalah, the Zohar. I understand the Islamic calendars, the Hebrew calendars. I understand the moon mostly. I know what certain things are and I know what they give. I know my place. I know what my zodiac reads. I know how, because between the Vedic and the tropical, one's physical, one's spiritual. One's stars and one's planets. To be able to read them is very important. That's why the date of 1776, America, the 26 cubed, 17,576, 5 being in the center. Knowing what these things mean and knowing that everything through the veil can be received. When it says in the book, if you want to look at the Bible, or even the Quran, the Vulgate, we can look at the Tanakh, the Torah. It doesn't matter. Even in the Bible, it states, "Learn the wisdom. Teach us the wisdom to learn to count our days." What does your life path mean? What does your destiny number mean? You cannot change the codes. There is no such thing as a cheat code. You can know the codes, and you can learn your balances and imbalances. When you balance your imbalances, you can start to move. You basically go from hylic to psychic. There's not very many pneumatics. I'll just say that. And that's in the Nagamati. Say that. And that's in the Nagamati. Most people that will claim to be pneumatic are usually psychic or hylic. Be careful of your false teachers. There's some out there that'll teach you wrong. Bryn, I can vouch for, is a very good reader of astrology. Very good reader. He sat with me before. That gentleman has a very good gift. He was given that as his gift. Alien T has his gift of giving us a place to be heard and listened. And I'll just go ahead and stop there and just give my thanks to Azrael, Gideon, and tell everybody thank you. And I love being here with all of you. And I'll share as much as I can when I can.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Forbidden, and I am going to start winding down, guys. Thank you for that. I apologize if I'm going across maybe a certain way, but I'm just not quite there tonight. So anyway, thank you, Forbidden. I appreciate you, brother, and I'll be back. We'll talk again, for sure. Thank you. All right, Azrael. So I'm gonna go Azrael Gideon, guys. Just take your time, no rush. Maybe even 10 minutes each if you want.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What's up? Tell me. Talk to me.
Okay, divine order. So I'm looking at divine order, and order is law. You know, there's a specific divine law structure how everything is built, but it's limited to potential. And when we go to order, the secondary one is an example order, menu to order, service to order, which becomes a menu of infinity. So the divine gives us either follow a specific strict law or utilize the order of the infinite menu. And the infinite menu is the potential that numeric numbers are infinite. And within each infinity, the potential that one is seeking is within. All you have to do is align yourself with the infinite divine order, and the knowing will actually manifest in front of you. And that's how we get these examples of coincidence, divine timing, meeting the right people at the right time. Because we allow ourselves.
Whoa. Can you repeat that last 30 seconds? Can you just repeat it one more time, please?
Oh, I don't know where I left off. Well, there's divine order, which is a strict law, no potential. And there's also the divine order, which is the menu of infinity, where anything and all is possible. Abundance is infinite. Each one of us is part of 1 billion souls that are currently, 8 billion, 9 billion right now. But before us there were, and after us there gonna be. So there's infinite potential in humanity itself, expansion. So in that concept and idea, when we limit ourselves to the first divine order, is we are believing that it's all strict and we are caught in limitation. But when we allow ourselves to fall into the divine order, which becomes the menu, you sit down in any restaurant, sir, ma'am, what do you like to order? Do you want a drink? Do you want to start with this? And guess what? You're going to get served what you want. So the divine order is letting you know that everything is played out for you. The only thing that is not played out for you is your beliefs. So the divine order gives us these examples of things. The right time, and many people downplay it and say, you know what, that's a coincidence because law of the divine order only limits us to only see what we see, and that's it. There's no magic in life. Magic in life doesn't exist because that is witchcraft. That is going beyond the box, And the thing about it, when we have potential and know that the universe, source, God, Gus, is himself or she-self, or the interbred of both of them, that energy, that source that is part of all of us, that allows us the imagination, has no limitation as well as numeric numbers. If I could think it, so shall it be. And if it so shall it be, so shall it become. All I got to do is take the actions of manifesting by doing what is needed. And that is starting by having belief that, you know what, that is going to be for me. It's going to be for me. I'm going to be an observant. Why am I going to be observant and listen? Because I've seen it happen in my life. I've seen all these synchronicities. I've witnessed all these deja vus. And I'm constantly looking at these numbers that are reminding me of something. What is it? And only I, as the individual, in my own unique way, is going to understand it because this is meant for me and my own unique understanding. So each individual, as I stated earlier, we are unique, yes, but yet in many ways we are similar to one another. That's why we come and talk to one another, whether it's here on TikTok or anyway, because we learn through one another's experiences to compare how I want to live my life, what resonates in my life. I've been through chaos, and I'm going to tell you how I got out of chaos as I communicate with somebody. They've been through their own personal chaos. They're going to explain it to me, and now that I understand these specific chaoses throughout the world, when I see a numeric number, I can say, you know what, anytime I see that, I can associate that because I don't have to take the limitations of the first order because I'm here to order from Divine himself, which is allowing me infinite potential, infinite possibilities. I'm not limited, I'm infinite. With that, I yield.
heard of the law of assumption?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
you.
really. Yeah. The law of assumption, assuming that you don't know. Yes.
Okay, look it up. I'm going to go to Gideon. Look it up. I'm going to come back to you. Google it. Law of assumption. Thank you, Azrael. All right. And there's a reason for. I want to differentiate, if there is a differentiation, between that and what you just said. Okay. So look it up if you're willing. Humor me. All right. Gideon, welcome.
Hello. So, final thoughts?
Yes, basically.
I'll share what I pulled out from the teachings of the Buddha book. It says wakefulness.
Bitch!
Wakefulness is the way of life. The fool sleeps as if they were already T-E-A-D. But the master is awake and he lives forever. He watches, he is clear how happy he is. For he sees that wakefulness is life, how happy he is. Following the path of the awakened, with great perseverance he meditates, seeking freedom and happiness. And hold on, I'm flipping to actually in the book Siddhartha because there was a quote I wanted to share. It says, would not all that is heavy, all that is hostile in the world be gone and overcome as soon as one had overcome time, as soon as one had thought away time. And in the Platon book it says, time is irrelevant, time is non-existent. Although each person is standing on a different step, that step is just an important one as the step below or above it. At each step there are different sets of rules, different ways of believing. A reminder is that you asked us long ago to help you remember and to remind you the human ego must certainly get in the way of them at inappropriate times. We're here to fulfill that promise that we both agreed. Although you may think you have no ego to contend with, that ego is simply part of the human experience. As you're participating as a human, you will have ego on it. Time is an illusion created by a human condition. Outside of yourself, you are connected to others. These others have simply the forms that you exist in higher places. Know that your dreams are not dreams at all, but places that both exist inside and outside of what you perceive as reality. Understand that your sleeping time is the most important and productive time, and you're really not sleeping at all. Not only do we come to you in book forms, but we interact with you in your dreams. Our purpose is to help you on a path of light. We ask that you learn from us and go forth and instruct as the ways of higher attunement. This is what you were designed to do. We will be with you, and our Creator, the Spirit within, will be within all of us. That's what I got. So, I hope you feel better, T. Thanks for holding space for us once again. And,
Yeah, I love what you shared. I love what you just shared.
Yeah.
The Buddha's pretty cool.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Got some good wisdom there, absolutely. Yeah. All right, Gideon, thank you. I appreciate you. And, just keep an eye out for my promo videos. I don't know when I'll be back, but I will be back. And I'll post the video. I don't know if it'll be Friday. It might be Monday. I may have to take a few more days. But I appreciate everyone who comes here, and I'll be back. Thank you, Gideon. All right, I want to go to Azrael, and let's see. We'll do a one-on-one with Azrael. How's that? I'll figure out the boxes. So, did you look it up? Can you read it to the room, please? Let us know. What is this? The law of assumption. What is it?
Okay, so the law of assumption is a manifestation concept stating that whatever you assume to be true in your mind will eventually become your physical reality. And it comes with a core Lucifer's principles, and it says imagination is created, popularized by spiritual teacher Neville Goddard. The philosophy teaches that inner consciousness and mental assumptions shape the outer world.
Was that similar to what you were saying?
Yeah, but I said it in different words. Yeah, that's the truth. Yes, T.
Now, people can run with that in a dangerous place, I think. Don't you?
Oh yeah, I definitely believe it. And that's what it says. With great knowledge comes responsibility, and many individuals cannot be realistic because we have to remember that our actions can contain consequences, and it's not only the consequences for ourselves, but the responsibility of who we share such wisdom or understanding if we know they're not prepared for this. So yes, if it falls in the wrong hands, this understanding, it could be utilized in different ways, especially self-harm if you don't understand it. First, be realistic. Don't seek goals or intentions that are improbable. There's such things like are possible. Like I can choose to buy some seeds and say tomorrow I'm going to plant these, and I know it's late in the season, but maybe they'll grow. And there's other things like one of my pets just unalived, and I'm going to assume he's going to come back to life, which is, I know it's improper. Intentions, goals, and understanding, and also be aware of consequences because they could be misleading to the wrong individual or even the wrong concepts that we bring forth. So utilize it.
Yeah, exactly. But now here's that law would say you're limiting yourself, therefore you're going to attract only what you're limiting, because if you truly believe that you could bring your pet back to life, you would. And that's dangerous to me.
And that's part of this connection that we do. We learn not only from ourselves and our experiences, but remember, I mentioned it before. Life is not what you know. Life is who you know. So surround yourself with individuals that will actually say, you know what, you got to wake up from that dream. That's not possible. But I'll tell you what is possible. So it's awareness, and it's good to be in solitude sometimes to know your value, your worth, and what is it that you are looking for that will make you happy.
So, but I want to ask you, because I'm going to wrap this up now, but I want to ask you, what I said was that could be dangerous. Why? Bringing your pet back to life. Look at the bigger picture. What's happening there? What are we doing?
Yeah, we're going against the spiral of life, which is this. Everything happens because it needs to happen. As the sun rises, the sun sets. So there's a specific cycle. There's a specific rule, which is the order of the first one I was talking about, the divine order. Knowing that there is a divine order in a specific law and rules, which are imprinted, cannot be broken. But the secondary divine order falls into the assumptions and potential of once you understand the rules of the divine order, if that makes sense. That's why we are reminded every time these deja vus, these experiences happen, because we learn through these experiences. And if it becomes something similar, not only do we can talk to one another, but we can understand it a lot more in that sense. So two divine orders, because as we all say, there is duality in everything. There is the strict law that you cannot break, and there's the law that we are able to experience life in whichever way that we want to. But be mindful that if you play with fire, you will get burned.
Sometimes we can be selfish. I say we, all of us. To bring back intervene in the life path of your pet. You could have imprisoned it, imprisoned the soul, right?
100%. 100%. And that's where the memories play a role. These experiences that we experience every moment. Every day is potential for a beautiful memory. So, we're supposed to live life and create beautiful memories, because these memories remain. Our essence, the soul of even a pet, has to go, but yet the memories will always remain. I guess that's what we call the seed. Through life, we are experiencing life, and we do what makes us happy and enjoy life. And sometimes we are able to enjoy it with our family. There's moments where we might do it alone, but there's more moments when we share with more. The more, the merrier. And these are the beautiful memories where we come together in a moment of remembrance for specific individuals in our life.
Oh yeah, Azrael, so I don't know when I'm coming back. I might take a few days off. I might go right till Monday. Everyone just stay tuned. I'll post the video. If you don't see one, then I'm not coming until Monday. Yeah, I might more days off. What, you gonna do a DJ live, or you gonna go live? If I don't, I'm actually thinking I'm not gonna go live Friday.
Well, we'll see. Like I said, last time I did a live, because I think you were taking the whole week off, and I decided to do it Friday. That was a last moment thing. If I do, no, we'll touch. How about that? You would notify me and say, what, I'm not going to be able to do it if you can't do it. And then I would say, okay, now I have more time to prepare something.
Consider yourself notified. I'm coming back Monday.
Okay. All right, sir. Well, do what you need to, and I'm pretty sure you're resting, and I think that's the key factor. You need rest. We all need rest. Don't negate that rest that we all deserve. But thank you, T. Much love. I love you, brother, and everybody tonight that shared. This was a great discussion. There was something that I mentioned earlier, and I hope everybody heard what I said. I can believe in something, but just like tonight, I can change my mind by hearing it. So allow yourself that freedom that nobody's going to judge you if you give yourself the opportunity to say, you know what, maybe that's not the way I should look at it. I should look at it in a different potential. So thank you, T. Love you.
You know what makes me feel better? Popcorn.
Popcorn and Pepsi, or popcorn and Coke?
I don't know, popcorn, just popcorn right now.
Come on, guys.
Having some popcorn. I think I like the salt. I'm going to meditate on how to get better. I'll do that. I'll see you guys soon. I won't be here Friday. I'll be back Monday, everyone. So, another few more days off. And, Azrael, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes, brother.
All right, guys. So I want to thank everybody who was up here. Thanks to everyone who continues to support this. And we've been under restriction for about over half of this live. I am ending early tonight. I'm not feeling well, so I'll be back Monday. Azrael might do something Friday night. Stay tuned for watch the videos. And yeah. I want to wish everyone a good few days. I may just disappear for a few days. I'll be back. Monday night. Much stronger than this. So thank you, everyone. Great discussion. You guys brought it. I won't comment on my own performance tonight. Just being sometimes, I guess, is all we need to do is just show up. But I'm glad I went live. I was able to get you guys some time to share, and there were some great shares tonight, great wisdom shared. So once again, thank you everyone, and we'll see you not Friday, but Monday. I have 14 of these left in this time slot. Let's make the most of it, guys. I appreciate all of you. Have a great night. Good night.
My name is Powerful Voice of Purpose, and now I have my name is Powerful Voice of Purpose, and now I have my voice, and you better listen, and that's my piece.